You're good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so okay.
All right, we are live now.
Right, so the only thing we really have to do is do the signal on there when it's like a
So right, you don't have to mouse.
right now you're doing it.
And then you'll say,
Yep. After that, we're good. At some point, like I said, we'll get into. I'll show you some more stuff in OBS. You do more, but right now we're rushed. We're at the end. So.
sorry, I missed you, man. I missed you all the
Oh yeah, no problem.
Do we?
Yeah, you gotta.
Is it? Are we live right now, Matt?
Yes, we are live. We're streaming.
I'm not. My YouTube window is not showing it, so I'm gonna refresh it.
Okay, let me double check from the watch page.
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear my audio going out on the stream, so just be careful of what you say.
All right, there we go. Everybody's muted. Huh? That's weird. I'm not seeing it still. Yeah, that's what I got too. Okay.
It also says title.
That's not the right one. You might want to just go back to YouTube and just find it like you normally do. Oh, I hear music. Probably gonna want to mute that. Yeah. Find it. Cool. All right. Well, if you want to hit mute on there, do you want to do an intro, Matt? When does that stop you before?
I didn't realize the Everett doesn't prepare it.
All right. Oh, thank you. That's important. All right. Go ahead and hit pause on that music, Jody. All right. And Matt, you are live in 3, 2.
All right, you know what time it is. It's Friday. Guys, it is Friday. It's SketchUp Live Day. It's the beginning of the weekend, and we are here. We're getting ready to fell some trees. Get some logs on the pile there. Whoops, that was an accident slip. But anyways, no, we're ready for the log. We're ready for the log cabin. That's where we're building up Lincoln logs. We're building a nice big cabin here today. So tune in, stay tuned, stay here. You're in the right place, and we'll get you some SketchUp tips and a lot of fun. And what else could you want? So without further ado, I present to you Aaron Dietzen, your host.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Well done as always. I was kind of surprised. I thought we were going to hear some trees fall. That's where I thought that was going, but
I was fully prepared to hear a tree fall.
Wait, you couldn't hear the tree fall?
is that what that was? It sounded like somebody stepping on a frog.
Maybe it was a tree that fell in the forest, but nobody was there,
That's true.
which answers the age-old question.
A little tree. Hey guys, I am Aaron Dietzen. I am the SketchUp guy. I'm the guy who's going to be doing some modeling today. I have some friends with me, of course. Hanging out with me in our ears doing our intros is our remote sound guy dialing in from Michigan. So let's hear it for Wyoming, Michigan. It's a place.
Yay, Wyoming!
And in the booth with me, in our studio, back from sabbatical. You guys missed him and you told us, so we brought him back. Jody, who is playing the role of producer today.
I might be going to Wyoming too.
So Yeah, we're your SketchUp live team, and we're going to do some stuff today. So this is actually directly from you guys. This was directly requested. You guys wanted to see a cabin get modeled, and we kind of kicked that around. We thought a log cabin specifically, as opposed to a traditionally framed. That's not much different from like the sheds we've done before. So we thought a log cabin would be something new, something kind of fun, and I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But that's we're gonna jump in and start doing this. Just so you guys know, I know how a log cabin goes together, more or less. I'm not gonna call myself professional log cabin builder. I also don't want to brag, but I have taken part in a log cabin build once when I was like 12. So I got experience.
I did one when I was about 14, which I guess was close when you were 12. Maybe at the same time. I don't know why I'm trying to look at you over there.
That could have been.
Maybe
Right
the
around
same
1
time.
year apart or so.
Yeah.
Give or take.
So, gonna be flexing those muscles, those cabin building muscles that I developed in my ute. So let's hop in.
One thing before we get started too, I think there's a comment about Jody's audio being low. Is that on the camera? Is that set? I don't know if Jody, if you can take a look at the old camera over there.
I cranked it.
It's all the way up. Okay.
It's the Shure mic instead of the other one.
It's
I was just
possible.
thinking last time we switched it, so you just have to get up on it, pretend you're singing, just like, yeah, there you go.
It's an ice cream cone.
Up close and personal.
Yeah, just get on there. All right, that was awkward. I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
Let's
Sorry.
get out of here.
Okay.
Hey,
back at it.
welcome. Thank goodness for that sound effect. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna dive right into this. Like I said, I don't have a design planned, and that's gonna be fine because we're gonna kind of explore how to go about this. I do want to build like a Lincoln log style house. So, I want to put in some logs in here. We're going to create some components. We're going to have them overlap at the corners. So you get the that thing, this finger lap. No, it's not a finger lap.
It's actually called a finger lap joint.
Is it really?
No.
Oh. I felt cool for half a second. All right, back to feeling normal and not cool again. So I'm going to hop right into this, and we're just going to start drawing logs with components, and we're just going to kind of work from there. I have a couple ideas how to do this. I think we're going to start with two components. I want to build a rectangular structure. So it'll be like, I don't know, like 25 feet by 40 feet, something like that. And we'll have two logs, a short side log and a long side log. And then we'll just start by just copying those over and over again, and we'll start with that. So this will be pretty simple to begin with. I'm going to start we'll just create one of the logs. So I'm going to create the 40-foot log real quick. So I'm going to start with a circle. I'm just going to stick with the standard 24 side. I don't really think I need to like go higher or lower than that. That seems like about right. How big is a log that you build a house with? I'm trying to think. Is that like...
So I would say somewhere between 6 and 8 inches.
Really? That small? Okay.
Well, I guess it depends on log cabin. So the one that I built 30 years ago was like a pre-built kit, and they were all probably 6 or 8 inches on the side. The cool ones, the bespoke ones, have big foot diameter kind of things.
All right, let's get bespoke with this thing. I'm gonna go 12 inches. Actually, I'm gonna go 6 inches because it's the radius and not the diameter. There we go. So we have a 6-inch log. I'm gonna take this, I wanna make it 40 feet, and I want it to extend out a foot on either side, so I'm gonna make this 42 foot.
Nice.
Wow,
Telephone pole.
that's a big piece of wood. Woo. All right. I'm gonna make that a component.
Big old log, number one.
We'll call it a 40-foot log. Even though it's 42 foot, maybe 40 is too big. Am I just living the fancy guy life with that? Is that too much? We're gonna lay it on side.
All I know is that we used multiples to create walls. So it was a bunch of 6, 8, 10, well, probably 10, 12-foot ones. I don't think I've ever seen a 40-foot log.
I don't think so either. So I'm gonna shorten this up by 10 feet. That looks a little more realistic. All right, I think that'll work. I don't know. We'll see. We're winging this whole thing, right? So I'm going to take that and I'm going to go from the center line. I'm going to make a copy over this way, 25 feet. Boom. Gosh, that seems huge too. All right, so we're going to say 20 feet. We'll bring it back. 20 by 30. That's the size of our cabin. I'm going to take one of these right here. I'm going to rotate it on the flat. I'm going to option rotate 90 degrees. Obviously, it's not lined up right now. I'm going to scoot it over. So I'm going to take this end right here. I'm going to slide it over to the middle, and then I'm going to slide it over 12 inches. That gives me a 1 foot overlap this way. Same thing here. I'm going to grab it by the edge, pull it in to here, and then move it this way 12 inches. That gives us more than the center. Sorry. I'll put the center right here at the edge and then slide that over 12 inches. So that gives us, this is the overlap we want to maintain throughout this whole thing.
Now, so what did you say the diameter was on these?
1 foot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it occurs to me that also, since this is just fun, if you have a 6-inch log, it's going to take a lot more rows of logs to make your cabin.
That's true.
Literally twice as many.
One would say. All right. This is not going to work because I have the same component on all three sides. That's not obviously going to work. So I'm going to make this into a new component. I'm going to say make unique. After I make unique, I'm going to pull up entity info and change it from a 40-foot log, which is actually a 30-foot log, down to a 20-foot log. That's going to be confusing. I should probably rename all of these.
Speaking of confusing, having all these monitors, gigantic monitors and tabs and screens, I'm a little overwhelmed right now.
Yeah, this is studio life. This is real deal.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I'm going to shorten this one up by 10 feet. And then I'm going to grab it and option copy it this way, 30 feet. All right, so that's the footprint of the house. I know the logs are crossing through each other. I haven't missed that. I do realize that's happening. But that's okay, because right now I just wanted to get the general layout. This looks good. What I want to do is I want to go in and notch my logs so they sit inside of each other. So one's going to, at the ends we'll have a notch. So when this all goes up, each one will rest firmly upon the one above. So what that means, these two, my two end logs, are going to go up, move them vertically, constrained to the vertical axis to the center of this log here. And then I could actually, at this point, grab that, option, copy that up, and we could do that like 8 times, which gives us like a 9-foot tall log cabin. So we're almost done at this point.
Nice.
Done.
Good job. We really nailed it today. Andy still said he can barely hear me, even though I'm all up on this mic.
Oh, see that? When you just said all up on this mic, you got up there. Your audio shot up.
I got louder? Okay, so
Yeah.
I literally just need to, my lips keep grazing the edge of this thing.
That's the one. We'll wipe it down afterwards. Don't worry about it.
Did you wipe it down before?
You're pretty good friends with Tyson, right? He's the last one who was on there.
Wow.
Cool. All right. So obviously we're not really almost done. What we need to do is we need to come in and notch some stuff. I do want to keep some of these unnotched because I might want to use them on the top or something like that. So I'm going to option copy these over here and I'm going to hit make unique. So that just gives me this set of, and this is just something I recommend to anybody who's using components. As you go and use components, anytime I change one of these, they're all going to change. That's the nature of components. That's how it's supposed to go. But you don't always want that. So I find in my working models, when I'm working with components, you guys have seen this on some of my models, I'll have previous copies of components just kind of sitting over on the side, just to hold on to in case I ever need to go back to this shape. This is a pretty simple shape. I could probably
And that's just like building a real log cabin. I usually have an entire floor or entire row of logs sitting off to the side. I just pick them all up and carry them over.
Usually, because, Jody's just knocking out log cabins. No big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. Okay,
And
so
as far as like a workflow thing, those components would be saved like in your components browser or whatever, right? So you
Correct.
don't need to have a copy of them off to the side, but it's more just like for your, I don't know, peace of mind, or that's what you're used to doing kind of thing.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, yeah. Matt's right. So right now I have these components, my 30 and my 20-foot log, and then I have 20-foot log number 1 and 30-foot log number 1. These are the copies. So if you look over here, I have these sitting here. So if I was to delete these, or in fact delete all this, I could bring it all back with my component browser.
or Control Z.
Or yeah, I can undo and get it back too. Excellent point. Excellent point. My issue with this is if you look at my thumbnails, they all look like, well, they look like pieces of chalk. So to come in here and find the one I need, I guess I could change my list to list view and I could find out what I need. But yeah, for me, it's easier to have this, like you guys saw, like when I did, I posted about like the Lego build, the big Lego build I did. I actually had physical ones sitting off to the side so I could grab them real quick and copy them over rather than having to dive into the browser and find those. Especially when there's only a couple of them like this, it's pretty easy to set it aside. They're there in case I need it.
So Lawrence had a good pro tip, was whenever he moves stuff off to the side, he moves it a fixed distance. That way he can move it back.
That is an awesome tip, actually. If I know it's going to come back in, I will move it in increments of 10 feet usually. So 10 feet, 100 feet, 150 feet, 500 feet on one axis. That way you can bring it just right in. The other thing I could have done too is I could have just made a copy of them in place and put them on a tag that I turn off. That would work too. But like I said, I'm very visual with my modeling and everything, so seeing this over here kind of helps me. All right, let's talk about this. So what I want to do, I'm going to hide the rest of my model. I'm also going to go into View, Component Edit, and hide similar components. So I just want just this one thing. So if I look at that, I don't like that the axis is all the way over there, but
It always kills me when my axis ends up off axis.
Can I reset it? If I just say reset, it's just going to go back to... No.
Nice. Sounds like somebody just buzzed us.
Oh, could you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was just background noise. Keeping it real. Even though you guys are in the studio, I am.
That's right.
Nice.
Matt's not living the studio life, unfortunately.
And apparently Matt's mic, he doesn't have to have in his face to pick up sounds.
Yeah.
I bet if I went out and fired up a weed eater, then you'd probably hear it.
Probably so. All right, so what I want to do is I want to notch the bottom of my logs. So I want each log, if I look at this, I want to see a notch right here and a notch right here that will fit over the round top. Like I said, full on Lincoln log style. Except I only want to do it on the bottom, so I don't need it on the top. On the top, I'll just, I know in real life I'd probably come in here and like plane out the top to get it. So there's a snugger connection, I have less to insulate, but we're going to pretend these are perfectly round, ideal, beautiful log things.
Yeah, the kit I built with its smaller logs than this had, the top and bottoms were flat, and then it had two, like on the bottom it had two channels running along the whole length of it, and then it had two grooves or two, I don't know,
Grooves works.
reverse grooves running
Yeah.
along the top, and then they just all slotted together. But when I've seen this style, there's also usually like a spline between the two. Like they'll run the length of it with just a groove cut out,
Mm-hmm.
and they stick a, like a
A thing.
half-inch spline or something that keeps it all from rolling off. Because rolling, that's a problem with round logs.
We're going old school. We're going like Jebediah Springfield right here.
Okay, all right.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and grab this geometry and Control C to copy it. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do an edit, paste in place. As soon as that geometry comes in, I'm going to right click and group it. I'm going to grab this geometry right here, group it, and I'm going to take this group, option, move it over 20 feet. All right, so now I have these two sacrificial groups that are going to help me cut my channel into this piece. I'm going to use solid tools for this. So I'm going to go tool palettes, open up solid tools, and I'm going to say, okay, select this one and full on subtract it from this one. And then select this one, subtract it.
That was exciting.
From this one. I don't know what just happened, but something happened. A thing happened. All right, so if I look at it from this angle right now, I can see those lines where the small logs run over the top of the bottom logs. This side, not so good, right? Because I still don't have a line right here. I can do the same thing. So I can go grab this guy, grab this geometry, copy it, come into, oops, hold on. Actually, one thing I do want to do, I can explode this geometry now. I don't need to, some people, you guys have used 3D Warehouse. You've probably seen this where you go and you download a model and it's just container, raw geometry, where it's just groups inside of components, inside of groups. I try not to do that. I try to keep the minimal number of wrappers around my geometry I need. This log by itself is one thing. I don't think I need 2 or 3 different wrappers around it. So that's why I did go in, make sure I explode it back out. I just need that geometry. All right. So if I
Extra
come in
packaging
here,
keeps it super fresh.
that's right.
Geometry will never spoil.
Oh man, my modeling's good enough. It's super fresh. I don't need help with that.
Super fresh. That's
Oops.
what your shirt should say.
I like that. All right, so I'm gonna grab this in, same thing, make a group. Huh. Okay. This over this way 30 feet. I'm not sure why I got that angled container. Let's see what happens when I do this one. Grab this guy right here, make a group, as expected. All right.
Huh.
Look, yeah.
That's neat.
All
It's
right, so I'm
probably
gonna
because
use
you
this,
said it.
subtract from here, use this, subtract from here. All right, so now I got my grooved logs. Nice.
Groovy.
Okay, so here's it's a pair of questions. When was the last time you worked with Lincoln Logs? And since we have an audience that is not all just here in the US, I wonder if Lincoln Logs exist as Lincoln Logs or another name elsewhere.
That's a good question.
I think I built something on Lincoln Logs in the last year. I don't know where I came across it. Must have found my kid's old set or something.
I feel like that's a thing that our family has going on at Christmas. Like for some reason, like there's a set of Lincoln Logs we have with our Christmas decorations, and they just tend to kind of come up. I don't know where that came from, but we just have some, and they show up around Christmas time each time in our house. With it, I will notice that we bought them in that big. You guys, did you ever get them in that big metal tin?
Yeah, that's how ours currently exist.
Yeah, and that tin's getting emptier and emptier every time I see it too. Like I think it's like an outhouse building kit at this point. There's like 2 super long ones and then a bunch of little things.
So as Lawrence pointed out earlier, referencing logs is just bathroom humor waiting to happen.
Oh, nailed it. I'm gonna grab this guy right here and make it unique. I'm gonna set this one on the ground. So I'm gonna come in here and I am going to put geometry on it that's gonna cut it in half. So I could try to do something with solid tools or something like that. But as I look at it, again, I like to do the quickest, easiest commands to get the job done. Doing that and cutting it, and then just coming and selecting and deleting that bottom half seemed like the quickest way to clean that up. So I know I got a little bit of scrap here to go back and clean up, but
It's little log spider legs or something.
so
I know spiders have 8 legs.
But how many do spider logs have? Yeah.
That's a good question.
Speaking
Loggy, long legs.
Speaking of spiders, did you watch the new Spider-Man trailer yet?
When it came out.
A week ago?
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to sound snotty.
When you've been gone for almost 3 weeks, then everything
That's
just
true.
happened. It's all I've got to catch up on 3 weeks.
Yes,
worth of-
yes, I did watch that. Yes, and it was good. Okay. Hey, you know what I should probably do at this point?
Save.
Oh, that lazy save.
The lazy saver?
For some reason, that now always just makes me think of, and it's unfair because it's really a Matt sound, but makes me think of Nick.
A lightning save.
His attempt to
Huh.
reproduce it was up there.
Huh.
Huh. Oh, I guess I might have some. Hold up 1 second. Where's it at? General. Oh, there we go. I do not need to autosave, and I do not. Oh, that's okay. I don't care if you do that. Just don't mess with it. Okay. Had some autosave stuff turned on that I personally don't care for.
You don't like to save.
I don't. I mean, I think I've pretty well proven that savings just not my deal.
It's not in your wheelhouse.
It's not a thing I do. Okay. Cool. It's looking good. It's definitely got a cabin-y feel. So there's a couple things we're going to do at this point. So we're going to come in and we're going to put some doors and windows in. I'm picturing like, a door right here in the middle, maybe window, and then maybe we'll do a window in the middle of each side here. Keep this back wall solid like that. Something like that'll happen. I want to put a roof on it, of course. My roof, as I take it up, I want my logs to continue up the peak. And then I'll have basically a ridge beam. It'll be a log. And then like halfway down on either side, we'll put another log perpendicular. So on the end here, we'll have, as it goes up, we'll have log at the peak, log coming down here like that, running horizontally across, if that all makes sense. Well, I mean, I want to do it if it doesn't make sense. That's what I'm going to do.
Maybe before you get started, you can talk about that thing there in your left hand.
Hey, question come up about this? What, this whole thing?
Yep.
So this right here is my 3D mouse. It is a Space Mouse Enterprise from the company 3D Connection. A 3D mouse allows you to move your model in 3D space without using this piece right here. So I can hold this in my hand like this and then still spin around right here. This is good for two reasons. One, as a designer, it's kind of the thing that can allow you to go to that next level. Because what I can do is as I'm moving this hand over here, moving in 3D space, this hand is free to move the mouse and, I don't know, edit the UI, grab the next command, whatever I want. I can do that here while this mouse is going and grabbing whatever I need. The other thing it does is it makes for very nice presentations because I can move in much smoother increments with a 3D mouse than I can using the roll and then drag and orbit here. SketchUp users are used to this, right? We all see this. We all know how this works. We spin, 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 zoom, zoom, zoom out, spin, spin. It's really easy. It's actually very intuitive and easy to learn, and I recommend new people figure out how to use that because it makes moving in 3D very simple. The downside to it is if your brain's not prepared for that, it can be a little disorienting. Same with this. Some people, believe it or not, don't enjoy necessarily watching this jerky movement. So if you're in a situation where you do a lot of presentations, you show models to customers, something like that, something that can take it to the next level is moving around with a 3D mouse like this. Nice, smooth movements.
Buttery smooth seems to be the phrase that pays. It's what comes up every time.
Yeah. So that's how, it's not a requirement to run SketchUp by any means. You don't have to have it. But I usually recommend it to people who are either doing a lot of presentations or they're designers who are looking how to go from where they're at to the next step.
It's also worth saying, like tech geeks that just like to have new, cool, whiz-bang things.
It is an awesome toy. Yeah.
And also, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, there is a skill builder about 3D mice, right?
Yes.
Oops.
So beep that
That's
if you want to go in more detail.
Yeah. We had so many questions too about using a 3D mouse, that kind of thing, that we did a skill builder on it, and it just kind of walks through just the fundamentals of using a 3D mouse. So all right, so I'm gonna do I'm gonna sketch up what I want the end of this cabin to look like, and then we'll go start putting in some framing for it.
So D-Cube's wondering if you could briefly show one log from the middle. Maybe to see how the notches are all,
Like that?
I guess. I don't know. We'll wait and see what he says.
Okay.
Bill's also wondering if it's easier to stand or
Need some
sit
waiting.
while you're modeling.
You know, I've done a lot of both. Standing's kind of nice. I think I tend to be a fairly animated presenter. Like if I'm talking about something or brainstorming, I like to walk around the room and that kind of thing. So I think standing up works a little bit better for me. But there's also times where I've done longer design sessions or modeling large models, a hotel, something like that, where it gets tiring and sitting down is kind of nice. So I'll go either way. All right.
He said thanks, so that must have been what you wanted.
Okay, perfect.
Although Irfan did wonder how you isolated that object from the others.
All right. So each of these are components right now. So if I double click into one of these, everything else goes away because I have some things turned on. If I go up here to view and then component edit, you can see hide rest of model is turned on and then hide similar components. If I turn them off one at a time, hide similar components says hide everything else that is this same component. And then the other option, view, component, hide rest of model. Matt's got me trained. Is going to show everything, hide everything else. Generally speaking, I do have a shortcut key for hide rest of model. So I'll toggle that on and off with a shortcut key on my mouse. But I don't usually hide components unless I have like this, where it's the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah, but that's a good tool to know how to use because it makes it a lot easier to go in and model those entities for sure.
Nice.
Thanks. All right, I'm going to draw some geometry here. This is something where I could probably use guides, but I'm not gonna.
Because they didn't have guides in old-timey days.
That's
when they made
right.
Log cabins.
And I don't have a specific. I wonder, if I was to.
I feel like since we already renamed layers tags, I think we should rename guides Sherpas or something, a little more adventure-y.
I'm just going to rotate this roof so that it. Whoops. I forgot to hit Option. I'm just rotating it here so that it comes up and it touches the side of the log right there. Didn't hit the Option again. Wow, third try's charm, folks. Let's try it again. So I'm here, get constrained, hit my modifier key to copy, not move. There we go. All right, so that is the roof I want to put on here. Not 100% sure I'm going to do this, but I'm going to grab this piece, Option, put it up here. Let's see, we'll do it 5x, 7x to cover that geometry. Now, here's the thing that's going to happen. So I'm going to create some geometry to start chopping chunks out of these logs because I want the logs to follow where the roof sheathing will go. So I want to come up to the flat like that. The problem is that each of these will have to be a separate component. The only reason and this isn't a problem, this is something I have to address right now. So if I grab all of these, if I go grab all of these right now and I say make unique, what it does is it takes all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies. It takes all those and makes all of them the same new component. So you see they are all log number 3. So in order to do this, I do have to say grab this one, make unique, grab this one, make unique, and I have to work my way up there. I believe there is an extension called Make All Unique. Does that sound right, you guys? Do you remember, is that familiar?
I never used it.
That will let you grab them all, and then everything you grab becomes its own new thing. But I don't remember what that is, and I don't know that I have it installed. So, but having done that now, I can look at this, and I can see this is 20-foot log 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Cool. So I'm going to grab these. So do I need to keep them components is probably a question that I could ask right now. I don't know.
Nice.
It really,
Good definitive answer. I love that.
I definitely don't know.
Okay, better.
That was definitive. The reason I say I don't know is because it really depends what you're doing with this model, is what it all comes down to. If I'm using components to make a materials list, then they'll have to end up as components. If I'm just modeling this as one piece, could probably grab all these and put them into a single geometry and have a single solid out of all of them. It really depends on what you're using it for. I'm going to try to keep my pieces separate. Not that I'm going to break this apart and go build a log cabin out of it, but and it may be a reason to keep it as components, is what Keggy's mentioning right now. Whatever I do here is also going to have to come over to this side. So making components probably not a bad idea, since I may go edit it afterwards, and then both sides will get edited the same. So that could be a reason to keep it that way. All right, I'm going to take these right now, and I'm going to slide them this way 2 feet, because I need to get back to this geometry right here. I'm going to triple click and make this a group. I'm going to go into that group. What I need to do now is make a cutter. So I'm just going to draw some vertical lines. Like that.
Pretty much exactly how we did it years ago when I built my log cabin.
Yep, just a big chunk of throwaway geometry. That's what we're looking at. All right, so that is just a big solid cutter. I don't like when geometry laps out up to the edge of my cutter, so I'll make it bigger. All right, so there we go. So that is the kind of geometry I want to cut out of this. So what I can do now is I can select this piece. I'm going to throw out this one because I'll actually have my ridge beam there anyhow, so I'm just going to toss that one out. Select this one, and rather than saying subtract, so this is a big difference. If I say subtract and subtract this from this one, wait, what? Subtract. What did I hit? Oh, I didn't hit the right one. They're so little and so similar, and I can't see good anymore. So I say subtract that from this. I will get this log, but look, my cutter's gone. So what I'm going to do instead is select it and use the one below it. No, it's not below it. It's this one over here. Wait for the tooltip if you can't see those buttons. And I'm going to use trim to trim this, then this, then this, then this, then this, and then finally that. So this one's having a problem. There's an issue. I think it's because my geometry laps through. I think it runs up against the edge. So what I might do here, I'm going to option push pull this all the way through like that. And that will, I was talking about how I could always come back and clean up this right here. That gets rid of it and just makes it, again, I'm back to having just a piece of chalk component, but that gives that all the way through. So when you do solid tools and you have geometry that comes to a point, solid tools and points aren't great because they're confusing spots. Just like if I tried to make these two into a single component, solid would have an issue with it because it has geometry that joins at a single line. And by the general rule of creating a manifold piece, a solid piece, in a solid piece, one line always connects to only two surfaces. So if you think about a cube, all the lines on there, all 12 lines, each one line only connects one surface on each side. When you have geometry like this, where the pieces connect, so it's coming together and it's got a line here, that center line is then connected to 4 faces. So it violates the rules of what a solid is. That's exactly what I was creating with that intersect. Right here, it's gonna be hard to see that line, but right there where it's connecting, I was having geometry on this side and geometry on this side, so it wasn't making a solid, so it's why I threw it out. By extending it long like that, I should be able now to select here and then trim this, and then I should have that. So that's good. Obviously, it's not perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily hide this. I come into this, turn everything back on. I'm going to push this end to the middle here, and then double click here. And what that'll do, that lets me come back out here, edit, view. No, edit, unhide, last. And now I can do one last subtraction here because I can grab this guy, trim this. All right, there we go. All right, so now I will grab all of these. I will move that back 24 inches. And this does sit on here, so I'll probably want to honor that notch. So I'll do the same thing I did before. Grab this geometry, Command C, come in here, hide everything else, edit, paste in place, make a group, move it over 20 feet, make a group, and then same thing. So now we can just subtract that from here and subtract that from here.
Nice. It's a lot easier to make these not in real life. They balance a lot easier on top of each other, you know?
Perfect circles, just like in nature, how we have those all the time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Who wouldn't love to have, what is that? Probably 120 different logs, all perfectly straight, same diameter.
I'm going to copy that over 30 feet. And we're going to take a look at putting our ridge beam in. So for this, I am going to go to our the ridge beam we had over here. Let's see, if I grab it by this point right here, and I'm not going to get in the right spot, but I just want to get it, there we go, aligned to the proper height, I think. And then we'll slide this over this way to any midpoint. All right, I think that works. I deleted my roof solid, but now that I did that, I'm like, I really could actually kind of use that. So I'm going to make a roof plane right here. I'm going to attempt to use rotated rectangle.
Wow.
You gotta be careful.
Not that that's a big deal. I just never use it. So every time I come in here to try it, I'm like, click. So I'm going to grab this point here. Nope, hold on. Click, click, click. Woo! First try.
Nice, look at that.
And then I'm going to grab this end and I'm going to move it from this intersection down to the middle of the edge of this log here. Okay.
Shaping up nicely. Got a little protection from the elements there.
That's nice. It's nice. All right, so I'm going to extend this piece long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to move it from this intersection to this intersection, which keeps it in plane by using the snaps on that log. Cool. Now I need one on the other side, and I'm trying to think of how to best... Oh, I know what I can do. I'm going to grab it and make it a group. I'm just making a group so the geometry is enjoying with it. Actually, everything's components. That wouldn't happen. And then I'm going to show my hidden geometry. and I'm going to do a rotate. I'm going to rotate along the center of this log. So I'm going to hit rotate, and I'm going to just slide up the middle of this log until I hit that midpoint. There it is. And I'll just go Option, swing that around 180 degrees, and we have those two making our roof geometry. So I'm going to make a group out of
Lovely.
those two groups. Come in here, explode both of them, put a line down the middle. There we go. So
That's a roof, folks.
that's roof. Argue with that if you can. So if the roof's going to sit on top of these cut logs, that's the geometry that I need to match. So that's the bottom of the roofing, basically. So that's my ceiling. So this, when I come in here, that's what I want to see. So that means this log that I have currently needs to get dropped, right? Because it's coming up through the ceiling right now. So I'll go ahead and take it and I will push it down. So I'm just going to start dropping it down just to see what happens here.
So you're going to add all of the roof support beneath that height?
Yeah, so my actual roofing members then would run up on top of this log. Do you guys believe that?
We'll see. We'll see.
Sure. It's your cabin, man.
That's true. I know what I'm talking about. I know, kind of. All right, I'm going to grab it. This is going to be a little arbitrary, but I'm going to grab it by this point right here. So you see, I did lower it down so that this line and this line, these edges actually hit that roof surface. That's why they're shining through. I'm going to grab it by this point right here, Option copy it. I'm going to go down 3 logs, 1, 2, 3, and place this one right here. All right, I'm going to do that again right here. Option, 1, 2, 3 down.
Yeah, that's right. Aaron is Lincoln. This is Aaron Log's cabin.
All right, so the only issue I'm having with that particular placement is that I can't very well notch this like this. So
Could.
I mean, you can. We can do anything we want, but I'm going to grab both of these and I'm going to move it up to the middle of this log right here. And then I'm going to shift it in again by that same point. It's going to come in to there. That works. So now that puts that in the middle here. So I could do just a same notching I did before. Won't have the same issue with that little chunk right there. So I don't know if that makes a difference actually. Yeah, I don't know how this happens in real world. I don't know. It's weird.
Put a bunch of mud in there.
That's right. Just fill it all in.
There you go.
Just for right now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this like 6 inches thick. Double click here. And then to close up the ridge here, I'm going to grab a line here, continue on up like that. Grab a line here, continue that up. Do a quick push pull down the end. Just to have something that's more than a plane sitting on top. Here, and we'll actually come over here. We'll pull this down like 18 inches also. Oh, we probably need to pull these ends out too. Okay.
Good. Grab that.
Sorry, Matt, do you need class to stop so you can answer your phone?
Hello.
Go for
Abe
Matt.
Lincoln. Honest Abe.
All right. I want to cut this out. I want to cut a pocket here. So I'm going to grab this. Again, same thing I did before. Command C to copy that geometry. Come in here, edit, paste in place, and then make group, make group, and then I will just subtract that out of this. I'm just gonna do the same thing here also. I want to see something. I want to see how far apart are these two? A weird dimension apart. Okay, so I'm not gonna do that.
So as I'm watching you do this in these, what completely looks like a made up fashion. So like about a year and a half ago, I came across this channel, My Self-Reliance it's the YouTube channel. And the guy literally like bought just a big old chunk of land in Alaska, or I mean in Canada, which is sort of like Alaska, and built like multiple log cabins from scratch. So even though I haven't built one recently, I actually have watched somebody do this in the last 2 years.
Are you hinting that I'm not doing this perfectly right now?
I think you're doing it perfectly for you.
Ah, thanks, I think.
This is exactly how Lincoln intended, how the framers intended.
That's right. That's what I heard. All right, that's actually kind of where I want that to go. So I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna go to the top here. Obviously, I feel like I can point this out, but maybe I'm not making a model that would be built necessarily so much as something that's gonna look good. And
Yeah,
that's
it still was cozy. When we were on the inside for a little bit, I was like, "Ooh, we got a little fire going in here."
Yeah.
Well, it's all wood,
A
so
little potbelly stove.
you could burn the whole thing down pretty easily.
Well, that's a glass is half full kind of view.
Yeah. I think my issue with this design technique you've got here is that you've got 20-foot logs that you've somehow got to get 12 feet in the air without a crane.
Oh, they do it on those Alaskan survival shows all the time.
Just need a little elbow grease. So.
Not a solid. Yeah.
Huh.
Huh. Got a stray edge.
Save.
Save.
Okay.
There we go.
Lazy save. All right, so that works there. And then I'll have to do the same thing. So I'll come in here, edit, paste in place. Ooh, I don't know if that's going to work, but let's find out. Ooh, it did. Yeah, I'm assuming we'll just, as Matt says, fill that with mud.
Get the mud out.
I love how
Don't
when
have
he
any
doesn't
mud
even
sounds.
have
I
sound
gotta make
effects, he's all over it. So don't even worry. Matt's got this.
Nice.
Got that. Well, that's not gonna work. Your log's hollow.
Oh, neat.
That's how I get it up there so high. Is
Yeah, it's gotta be lightweight.
it's like cardboard.
I do feel like
Yeah, fill it in later.
I feel like it'd be really flimsy, like a rolled up piece of paper. Too.
Yep. It's those big concrete tubes. It's good stuff. Okay, so again, what? Why is this not? This is a group? Oh, because I just did. So, because I'm using native solid tools, every time I intersect something, it becomes a group rather than a component. That doesn't make sense. These are all groups. Oh, because I did intersect on all of them and I didn't save them as new components again. Okay.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you didn't. So I'm gonna wipe that wall out. Oh, just got my head stuck in a log. All right, but now I can go. Make these components real quick. And one more.
You know what you could do is you could make hollow logs like that. And
Hmm.
then once it's built, you just go back and you insert wood pulp. And so it looks like a log, super light to build. And then afterwards, you make it more stable. Yeah, there you go.
I like this. These are the kind of ideas that come out of this show that really set it apart from things.
I'm gonna have to see about patenting that.
All right. I like where we're at so far. I think this is kind of cool. This is kind of fun.
Looks like a log cabin.
It argue with that. Yeah.
And the ability to just keep it private is just like over the top. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you in that house.
Yeah, especially since there's no doors.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've come to the part where stuff's going to start breaking. We're going to break things now. This is awesome. So what may want to happen at this point is this may be a single iteration. This might get grouped, set off to the side. There's really no way about it. As soon as I start cutting holes for doors and windows, I'm going to lose my componentiness. So this component can't be the same as this component if this component has a hole for a door and 2 holes for windows in it. So I'm definitely going to break some stuff. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it is something to note. It does mean paying attention to your components and making unique as you go. That's how I would go about it. So we're gonna start with the windows or these end walls. I'm gonna put a window right here in the middle. Maybe I'll put it up like high, like up. No, we'll just put it down here, normal height. I'm just gonna sketch on the outside here. If I come up, where's the middle of this log? Is it 8 feet? Let's maybe we'll go a little bit high on this window. Yeah, so I'll come up 8 feet. And make it like 4 feet wide. So I'm gonna go 2 feet from the middle. And then let's do a 4 foot by 4 foot window. There we go. So drew half that, and then I'll just option swing that around 180 degrees. So that's the profile of the window I want here. I'm just gonna make a big old cutter, just a huge chunk of butter, just barreling right
The
through.
huge butter cutter.
Big butter cutter. I like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and group that. All right, now here's the thing that's gonna happen. I'm gonna come in and start chopping chunks of these components out. So what I'm gonna wanna do, and this is just to kind of try to optimize this process as I go, since they're gonna be the same on both sides, that cutter is symmetrical, goes right through the whole building. If I select this one right here, which is the bottom of the window, and this one over here, which is also the bottom of the window, and I right click and I make them components. I'm sorry, cancel, make unique. Then anything I do to this component is going to get done to this component. And now everybody's going, whoa, hold on. You just told us that when you use solid tools, it breaks the component and makes it a group. That's true. But let's talk about how to get around that. So I see 2 ways I could go right now. One is to just frame out this end wall, copy all of it, slide it down, and replace this other end wall. That would not be a bad way to do it. That's probably the quickest way to do it. But let me show you this just because I want to. So I'm going to grab this butter cutter. I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to go into my new log that I just made. A triple click and make group.
Lawrence was asking, he thought each end of the cabin was actually, they were a component, so you only have to cut the hole on one end.
You know what? That's an idea too. I could do that also.
Seems like it'd be slightly less work.
Oh yeah, I wandered down into teaching at this point and not optimization.
Oh, I forgot that sometimes you try to do that.
But you got a good point. Yes, I could make the end a component and then they could just be groups inside, which actually makes a lot more sense at this point because trying to maintain these as components once I start chopping them up doesn't make much sense. And in reality, as I'm going in and starting to cut this, if I cut holes into a cabin, I'm not really concerned at this point if this log matches that log or matches. And as far as I know, the material list for a log cabin is a number of logs.
Yeah.
So
Log X.
I'm not going to prefab this log in this way, but I want to show that anyhow.
48 logs, 1 butter cutter.
That's all I need. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to subtract it from this geometry. All right, so what I did was I did that with groups inside the component. So both components got cut and I can explode at this point and come out here and they're still components. This log and this log over here are still components because my actual intersection and cutting happened inside. So if I take that a step further, so I want all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of these guys need to get cut the same way also. So I can grab them, make unique, it's gonna make them all unique. Then I can open up one. I'm gonna go ahead and hide similar components. Grab this, make it a group, edit, paste in place, put my butter cutter where it is. There we go. And then if I subtract from this, it gets cut in half. If I come out here, they're all cut because that same component was cut multiple times. So this is an option. I'm not saying this is the only way. Lawrence is right. You could definitely have made these just a component full of groups and then done it once on either end. That works also. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do these last two real quick because I'm on a roll at this point. Make unique. I'm going to this one. Make group. Edit, paste in place. Bring me my butter cutter in. Subtract from this. Explode. Come on out. There we go. We got 2 windows.
Look at that. So much symmetry.
Symmetrically. It's very symmetrically made. I'm going to go ahead and sketch up a window component to actually put in here real quick. And I'm thinking that I'll probably use the same 4x4 window on the front over here also. And let's see, how do I want to do this? I know, I'll take a rectangle and we'll start that rectangle in the center of this middle log. Give me center, buddy. There, come down from there. I'm gonna hit my modifier key to draw from the middle. I'm gonna come up here like this. And trying to see how big this is. If I go all the way out there like that. Okay, so I'm gonna say oh, it's 4 foot. Okay, so I'm gonna say like 8 inches by 4 foot. Give me that rectangle. I'll take that and give it a 2-inch. We're milling our own lumber, so we're going with whatever dimensions we really, whatever we want.
You work with what you got in this forest of 12-inch diameter trees.
That's right. Perfect 12-inch diameter trees, no less. All right, so I'm gonna rotate that and actually, this is the one I want here. I'll run that one straight up, up. There we go. And then I'll take one, flip it 9 degrees, and then I'll have to What happened there?
What?
Yeah.
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 You should just map all the sounds to each of the letter keys on your keyboard. Yeah. You just hit the Y key.
All right, cool. All right, so for right now, that's what I'm shooting for. I'm gonna grab these for. Whoops, not that one, not you, buddy. You settle down, big guy. All right, I grab those. Make component. I'm gonna call it a window. And I can go in and put a pane in there, mullions or whatever. But that's enough for right now because I can just option copy that. Whoa, 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 whoa.
You should do this like full on, like your windows. You can't get glass panes. You've got to make the ends of all your windows out of the ends of like bottles and stuff like that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you're gonna melt down some sand and.
There you go. Or just get lightning to strike.
How ridiculous can we get? Sorry, I didn't mean to say ridiculous like it's a silly thing to make everything yourself. You can do
Whatever.
that. It's cool.
Feel judged right now.
Yep, very. All right, I want to take this up to the center of a log. So we'll go 6'6" or 7'6". 7'6". I'll make like 3-foot door. So come over. 1'6". That looks a little too tall and skinny, so I am going to drop it down. But all right, I'm going to do another cutter. Just going to take that through like that. Make that a group. All right, and then I'm going to try this. I'm going to take this, offset it. Now we'll move it over 6 feet. I'm going to come in here. It's 3 feet now, so I'll make it a foot taller or wider. I'm going to take this line and drop it down 4 foot and extend that through. Now I got a window cutter. To make that symmetrical, since I came over 6 feet, I should be able to take this, move it this way 12 feet. 12 feet plus a foot. Wait, what did I do?
I'm not real sure. I don't know. I was so enthralled just watching you stumble through it.
I don't like where that is. Yeah, move it over 2 more feet.
Nancy pointed out you wouldn't want to cut the lowest log.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I should probably have this extra log, the flat log here, huh?
So we must be doing really good because Lawrence has started dropping the pun jokes. First one I wasn't going to repeat because it had potty humor in it, and I know how sensitive our crowd is. But here's a good question for you, Aaron.
Okay.
What's it called when a log cabin eats another log cabin?
Cabinabalism.
Close. It's cabinalism.
I respect that joke.
Figured you'd appreciate that.
Yep.
The other one was about poop. I know you don't like poop, so.
This is the perfect time to be throwing out some jokes because I got a few repetitive tasks to do right now. So what I'm going to do is these two are going to get cut exactly the same. This one's going to get cut. These 3 will get cut exactly the same, and then this top one will get cut. As I do that, feel free to hit us with more jokes. And I just got to throw it. I think ANSI actually designed and built some log cabins, if I recall the forum correctly. Is that true, ANSI?
He didn't answer yet.
Is that why he's here, is to tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Maybe.
It would not be the first time that somebody showed up for that reason.
He could be here to try and learn a thing or two from you.
I guess that's possible.
Lawrence said that log cabins are all right, but igloos are cooler. And I'm left wondering if he is basically just sitting there looking these up on his computer while we're,
Feels like something a Google search would reveal.
or like if you just say, "Hey Siri, tell me a joke." That's the kind of joke she'd be dropping.
Yeah, that does. Which is not to say it's not a good joke.
No.
All right, so I'm going to subtract. Whoops. Subtract that from this. Subtract that from this. And subtract that from this. So one of the things this is doing, by the way, is it's giving this big log is now one continuous component. Again, if I'm concerned about that and I want to see it as separate pieces, that would be one thing. If I'm not too concerned about that, then I can let it go. But that is a thing to note. Just want to point that out. These ones will all be done at the same time, make all three unique. Then I can go into one, edit, paste in place to get my cutters in, and then I can just one by one cut that out of this, cut that out of this. Oop. And then cut that out of this. Last one. Same process, trim, trim, trim. Whoops, I forgot to hit make unique. Undo, 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 undo.
So that's just ventilation. That's good. I mean, I've seen that in a lot of modern designs too.
Those are my gable vents.
Yeah.
I want it to get too hot in the cabin. I'll throw this out to the community. Have you guys played very much with Eneroth's solid tools? I think I played with it like once or twice, and I haven't gotten a whole lot further than that. But I think one of the things you can do with that is it makes it very easy to do edit multiple pieces at once, where, it's the Boolean process with the standard solid tools is very one-to-one. I think with Enerot, you can do like multiple cutters or cut multiple pieces a lot easier. I was just wondering if you guys have used that at all. It's one of the many extensions that I would like to have time to play with. I just never really seem to
Find the time.
find the time. I'm shortening my framing down here by 12 inches. That should take it in there. And then this guy here, show me the rest of my model. Drop this. And then I'll just use scale to scale these guys because they're rectangles. They'll scale well. Some shapes you don't want to use scale on because it makes a mess of them, but extruded rectangles are always good. Hey, guess what? That was a component.
Neat.
So I just screwed up every single window I have. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn that oopsie into a teaching moment. I'm going to save.
I love lemonade.
I'm going to grab this door right here. So this is my door components, the correct shape and all, and I'm going to cut it. Command X. Now I'm going to hit Control Z until all my other doors go back to where they're supposed to be. And actually get rid of that. Now if I go Edit, Paste in Place, that shows up. Now, something happens automatically, which is kind of cool, is that when you do that, so here this was window. When I paste this in, when I copied it back post screw up and before undo, it was also called window. But when I pasted it back into my model, because there was already a window, it automatically renamed it to window number 1. So kind of a cool SketchUp's being smart right there situation. All right, we're moving along. This is looking kind of cool. I like this. What do we do now? I guess we could throw a floor in here and take a nap. I'm assuming my floor would be about right about here. I'm going to just draw a working rectangle, and then I'll grab that and scale it. And then that scaling, I'll bring out to like...
I didn't notice it, but Keggy totally called you out on the Make Unique before that whole debacle.
That's why, see, in order to let myself screw up enough for the perfect opportunities to cause some learning, I have to ignore advice. Guys are being smart, I gotta kind of ignore that sometimes.
Keep your smart to yourself, jeez.
That's right. Listen to your smarties. All right, so there's a floor in there. All right, so something I was playing with in my head of doing was, I was thinking how tough would it be to come in and like make a component, make a thing to fill in the gaps, right? So like get the concrete or whatever mud between the logs. There's a couple ways I could think of doing it, but I don't know how well any of them are going to work. So I'm going to save. That way I can always revert. So one thing I was thinking about doing was something like this. Grabbing a rectangle and zooming in here and finding like there's a face. So that's like 1, 2, 3 segments out from the log. Taking that might be too big. Taking that straight over like this. That's too big. I don't like that. We need slightly less mud. So what I could do, I'm just gonna draw this one by hand. Come down here. Draw this one back to here. Yeah, that looks nice. That's like the right amount of stuff. I can also, before I make this into a group, kind of cut like that and then get rid of this. Oh, that's another nice thing about a 3D mouse. I know if you've been here before, I've mentioned it. Getting inside a house with a 3D mouse. I'm trying to come up with a rhyme that means is easy or is good, but rhymes with mouse. I can't come up with anything.
Orange? No, wait, orange didn't rhyme with.
And that's not the one either. It's good, is what we're basically saying. It's good stuff. All right, so if I take that and I push it through to the other side to where it snaps here, and then I'm gonna triple click and make that into a group. I'm not interested in making that a component right now because it's gonna get changed so many times. That does give me that mortar between the logs kind of look. So now I'm gonna take it and I'm going to option copy it down 8 times. Ooh, sometimes you get it right on the first try. Not often, but sometimes. Cool. Maybe not the ideal order to do this in, but sometimes when you're designing, you're making stuff up as you go.
That's right.
All right.
No harm, no foul.
That's right.
I do feel like you need to trim those boards because like getting in through that door is now completely not going to happen. You basically just created a pantry that's accessible for both sides.
No, I created an opportunity to like, okay, it's only 12 inches. Yeah, you can't, never mind. It's not a game to get in there. That's just impossible. So let's figure out what the easiest way is going to be to cut these. They're groups, so anything I do, I'll have to do more than once. But I'm just trying to think. I could come in here, cut this like this, push that through. Okay, this isn't too bad because I could come here and do this on this 3 times. Push that through like that. One more. rectangle from there to there. Push that through. Just so it looks good on the inside. Looks perfect. And then I could erase these three. And because they're separate pieces, but it's all in one group, I can just take it, Option, drop it down 12 inches, make sure I'm going vertical, 12, 3 times, and there we go. Those ones are done. And then I'd have to do the same thing for these two. Open up one, put a rectangle across like that, push that through. I guess that's probably just as easy to just do that again as it is to copy it and place it. I don't know. That's one of those spots where there's, what do you like better? You like copy and pasting or drawing rectangles and push pull? Your call. All right, that looks kind of cool. I like the way that makes it a little more legitimate looking. And I only came out to these logs. I intentionally didn't carry it through because I don't think you would actually worry about mudding the edges there.
That's just a way to kill time in the middle of the winter.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so coming up this side, of course, is going to be a little different because if I was to do that same exact process, I guess I could grab one of these off the back. See, now in hindsight, because everything's so perfect there, this geometry could have been part of the log. The log could have gone up like this and then gone straight up at the very ends and could have emulated that same thing. But one of the things that doing it this way is I could actually, there's some different ways I could color it by having it be separate. That would be a little bit quicker and easier maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to justify my decision making.
I buy it. Yeah, no. Completely makes sense to me.
Okay. Grab that, shove it back 10 feet. Beauty. Take that, Option, copy it vertically, 12, and I don't know, what, 16 times? All right. This one, of course, will be a little more work because this is easy right here. So I can just do the same thing I did on those front windows, but I'll only have to do it once. Push that back, delete that. And then 1, 2, 3. Grab that. There we go. Option, copy that straight up. 12, 3x. That's solid. Now these guys right here, I'm trying to think of a quicker way to do this, and I don't know if there is one. Because I think what I would want to do is come in here, draw a line like that, draw a line like this, hide the rest of the model, and then I just have to push pull and double click there. So I could save time by double clicking. One of the other things I was thinking of is I could take this guy. So my process from there would be come into the next one, draw a line like this, draw a line like this, and then double click. It gets a little easier because they stick out of the roof. So that's not too bad. I could do that 3 more times. The other thing I was thinking about would be to delete this, grab this, and then put it there. So snap it into place. But then I got to come to here, grab that, move that back along the red axis till it snaps in. Not terribly painful either way. I am such a big fan of cutting things off as opposed to moving them. It's just decisive, you know, you're just chopping it off. And then with the double click to offset the same length. That's pretty easy. I guess in theory, you could break this into multiple parts and have a dynamic component for this piece, but
Kegi also suggested you could use the roof as a cutter.
That's true, because that was a solid, and that was if they're both solids, that would absolutely work. And then we need to just fill this whole section up here. So actually, I'm going to take this, slide it up, and then I'll grab this, pull it all the way up like this. I'll do the final one the way Keggie's suggesting. We'll grab this guy, and then trim it out of this guy, and then when we come into this guy, just grab all this, delete it, and then that's our geometry filling in. Now, the concept going back, the concept I forgot who mentioned it. It was Lawrence. Somebody mentioned the idea of making the end wall just a big component is starting to feel like that was the way to go, because they're the same on both sides. They're not even mirrored. They're full-on symmetrical pieces. That would have made so much sense, because as I'm going through here, as we're adding more detail, I just keep grabbing it, copying it, 30 feet down.
Hindsight, as they say.
That's right. That's pretty cool. I mean, for what, an hour and 15 minutes so far?
It's pretty good.
I feel pretty good about this. This is kind of a cool model.
Yeah, Hornock's arrived. Oh,
Sip and save.
Hornock's
A
arrived
fantastic reflex save.
and lamented that he was unable to see so much of the build.
Hornox? Yeah. Should I delete it and do it again real quick?
Yeah, probably could. 'Cause you've already noted several ways that you could have done this more efficiently.
That's true. But okay, that's the thing right there, right? I feel like learning experiences, like anytime you do something, you have the opportunity to learn from it, right? Even if this is something you've done 100 times before, if you're paying attention, you could probably learn something. I feel like I'm lucky in the fact that when I model, I'm challenged with modeling different things all the time. That's kind of cool. But I feel like every time you model, you can get a little bit better at something. And that's where I get a little bit envious of the people who are modeling like the same types of models over and over again, because they do get to learn and get a process. And I feel like every time I come in here, I'm just hacking at something new and winging it through a whole nother type of model. But yeah, it's kind of cool, because being able to learn constantly is, in my opinion, is kind of a nice thing to have.
So I'll defend your, you do different stuff every time, in that you might figure something out while you're working on a car model that then when you come in and work on a house, you're like, oh, I could use this technique that I used for that, which is a completely different domain.
Too true. That does absolutely happen. Sorry, it was bugging me that floor was not. I didn't have edges there. There we go. I like edges at my intersections. Yeah, I mean, it's transferable information for sure. You can take data or experiences from one thing and put them on the next. That is absolutely true. I guess I could throw some glass in my windows and a door in the door. I didn't do much as far as framing the roof or anything. It was just kind of a 6-inch slab.
Lawrence is confused by the lack of stitching that has occurred as of yet.
Hey, sometimes you stitch, sometimes you don't.
There you go.
Sorry, I sound like I was going somewhere with that, but it was really nothing. It was absolutely nothing.
You know, based on previous conversations with you, that actually didn't sound like it was going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks for keeping me honest. All right. I am going to just kind of going to make a little trim there. A rectangle here that I'll pull through. Make that a group. I'm going to go in there, grab all that, fill that with some glass color. And I'm going to use a specific, because we're modeling this up in the woods somewhere, so I'm going to use the cloudy glass color, cloudy reflection glass color. There we go. Yeah, that's the stuff.
Blue skies, nothing but blue skies. There we go. You got the blue shirt on, so you got the blue sky.
That's right.
Glad he didn't wear a green shirt.
Everything's looking blue. Ooh, that sucks. All right, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to pull it in a little bit, but I'm going to keep it like, yeah, we'll pull it in 1 inch off of the outside. Give us a nice little windowsill on the inside. And again, because we got a component, I did that once here, and oh, these ones are reversed. They're all reversed. Okay, so let's do this. Let's come in here. Let's grab everything. Go find the center of this top piece. That put everything back to the outside. And now I'll grab this one component, go to move, and rotate it. The component, the actual container, not the geometry inside. There we go. That puts the window on the outside. Wow, what are the odds?
Probably not that bad.
All right. A door. Similar thing. I'm going to go into the component. I'm actually going to take this geometry right here. Make a copy of it. These are all groups and not components, I believe. So, yep. I can take that and modify it to get me a nice door. And I'll use scale. Right there. I'll make it a little thicker here. And I'm not going to model any hinges. We're just going to take it, and as most cabins should be, just slightly ajar. So, you know, teenagers who are lost in the woods go inside, because that's what you do when you find a cabin in the woods, and, you know, stuff happens from there.
I feel like you need the door to be swinging out, though.
Right.
No?
I'm sorry, was that?
Just to think the door should be swinging out. That's a fire hazard right there.
Isn't that how front doors go? Don't they all go in?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Front door, my front door goes in.
It's true. As I mentioned previously, last time I watched a log cabin being built, the door swung out.
I guess that's possible. You know, I do know in smaller structures, they will go outside because you don't always have room to pull them inside. So maybe so. That could be. A log burner's needed.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold in there.
I don't know. Simella's wearing a dress. She's not really dressed up too warm. I think we'll be safe.
But it's still summer.
That's actually kind of fun though. It would be cool to find some drawings of like an old potbelly stove or something like that. Like something with some detail on it. That could be a fun model next time.
Yeah. Build out the whole scene.
Cool. Yeah. All right. I don't know. I'm not a fan of quitting early, but kind of feel like I underreached. Like this is
It is a long weekend.
That's true. That's what is it about long weekends that make everybody think you should probably knock off early? Just get those.
I don't know.
Oh, Lawrence is pointing out that their glass is a little too flat and perfect for considering I made it out of sand I found on the nearby next to the creek. What else?
And so Nancy said the windows are going to break in the first year. The wall will buckle at the window and the door holes, and there's nothing to hold the logs in place.
But other than that,
seems great.
Awesome. You didn't see. I actually
Everything needs a little maintenance, you know.
I put rebar all the way through here. You just missed that part.
You didn't model the internal structure because you can't see that anyway.
That's right. No, this is a showpiece. This is for Cabin in the Woods Part 2. This is totally, yeah. This is a Luke Whitelock, Chris Rosewarne type model. It's primarily fiberglass and foam.
Awesome.
Wow. That was
Wait, was there chicken at the end of that?
I don't know. Oh, how did that get in here? Get out of here. Get out of here.
I do like that laugh. One of the first pieces we did unpack into the studio was, it's just to the right of that second monitor there, Jody, if you could hand that to me. That's right. It is essential studio gear. The rubber chicken was one of the first pieces that we actually had come in here. This came in before any cameras. Yeah, this was like one of the first pieces. So I think that's standard, right? Isn't that, Matt? You've been in more studios than I have. I think that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. The rubber chicken comes in and sets the stage and kind of blesses the room, and there's like a ceremony and things of that nature. But yeah,
It's all up or downhill from there. All right. Well, like I said, you guys, I don't really have any more ideas. And we got a finished product here. I'm going to save this. I'm going to post this. Actually, I think I have to post last week's too. I don't think I ever posted the thing that we did. Ceiling fan. I didn't ever posted that ceiling fan, so I'll get that up too. But I'm going to call this done right now because I feel good about where it's at. And I want to leave into the weekend feeling good about things.
Yes! That's awesome!
So, yeah. Before we leave, I do want to, again, I just like to throw out this request at the end. You guys have other ideas? I do like the idea of modeling a fairly detailed wood burning or potbelly type stove. I think that's pretty cool. Not sure if you guys had any other ideas you were thinking of, because you've had last week. There's some good ideas came out. So, yeah, hit me with some ideas. Hit me with some thoughts, some potential models that you would like to see.
I'm watching.
Law's asking if we usually render it. We don't. I've dabbled in rendering, but we try to focus mostly on modeling here. We've talked a couple times about doing like a live rendering show, and now that we have access to things that make rendering a little quicker, like real-time renderers, that actually sounds like something we could do. We could put together a live model where we focus on that. That could be kind of fun. So yeah, that's something to think about for the future.
I like the idea of the potbelly stove.
I do like that a lot. That'll be a fun one, and probably super doable in the time we got.
So Hayatu was wondering if we're going to make this model available on in the warehouse.
Absolutely. I will try to put it up right as soon as we're done, so I remember. I'll put up last week's too if anybody wants to copy that or grab a hold of that ceiling fan we did. I'll put that up also, and then put
and
them
the links will
into...
be in the forum thread and also on the YouTube description as well.
Oh, perfect. That's great. This is the second time Keggy has asked about Las Vegas Casino.
And so how long did he ask for the Opera House, Sydney Opera House?
That's true.
So, yeah, I mean,
Maybe you'll wear Tyson down.
Yeah, he's got a long game.
I have to tell you guys, I did back previous job. I was doing some training for some software that the company I work for made, and I was training a guy who was an architect, and he had a set of plans for the last big job he had worked on, which was New York in Las Vegas. And the set of plans he had rolled up was, I'm not kidding, it looked like carpet, like a roll of carpet. It was so big. It was the thickest set of plans I've ever seen. And we flipped through, and it was all facade. Like the set of plans, this had to be 2.5, 3 inches thick roll of plans, was all just for the facades of New York, New York. So going around the outside, there's the initial like sides of the building, the 4 sides as you would look at them and all the pieces, and then going into detail with how everything was built or painted. It was insane, the amount of work that goes into those casinos there. I mean, they're like little theme parks, each building. It's super cool. It's pretty cool, and some people like or dislike that place in general. But I will say that just for real, it is just a very cool what they get built out there. So yeah.
Agreed.
+1.
Okie dokie, Erin.
Oh, whoa. That was personalized. KitchenAid. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a cool one.
That would be a cool one. I like that. I'm sitting in one. Oh, not the KitchenAid, log cabin. Sorry, Antsy. We're good.
Actually, he didn't say, so it could be either one.
Antsy could be a very small person sitting inside of a KitchenAid. That is possible.
Oh, what about the new studio? That'd be pretty simple though.
It would be a lot of warehouse downloads because I'm not going to model most of the stuff in here. A lot of it's not very fun. Well, actually, I mean, any of the gear in here could make its own model, but that's a thought too. That could be kind of fun. Fun to model some of those, the eggshell sound.
Acoustic foam panels.
Acoustic foam, there we go. Thank you. You knew what I was talking about. Things. Actually, you didn't know what I was talking about because I was just gesturing and.
Yeah, and nobody else can look around this room. There's literally 3 people that can see.
Ooh, how about that? Ooh, or that? Yeah. We would have to get a second camera that a camera person could move around as we model each piece. That could be kind of fun too. Not a bad idea.
You need like a POV GoPro head cam.
Yeah.
That's what
What am I going to model
need
now?
more and more
I'm looking at
overlays over the SketchUp window. You got the overhead camera of your keyboard, and then you got POV.
Man, on Twitch, if you ever watch Twitch, that's what they got. They got widgets and stuff all over, and the game's in this little tiny section in the middle.
Yeah, heart rate monitor,
Esquadro, I'm not sure if that's the right name, is asking if the 3D mouse has shortcut buttons. It does. So this one in particular, this is the Space Mouse Enterprise. I'm seeing on the screen, it's a little bit dark, but yeah, it does. It has a screen up at the top that tells you what some of the shortcut keys are. But I think all in, there's something like 50 shortcuts you can program because you can program some of these buttons for a tap versus a hold. What I have on mine is the top 12 buttons are the most common commands I use that aren't already programmed on my standard mouse. So my standard mouse has 7 buttons programmed also. So select, line, erase, rectangle, rotate, push, pull, and move are all actually gesture buttons on this mouse. The Space Mouse then has a whole bunch of undo, redo, hide, some shortcut keys for some for like sub D and vertex tools, which I use a lot, as well as like the modifier keys are all on here automatically. They're already set up. And then my arrow keys, all that is programmed onto the 3D mouse also. So one of the nice things about, or one of the bad things, the downsides of a 3D mouse is once your left hand comes over here onto the 3D mouse, you don't have a hand on the keyboard anymore. So right hand's on the drawing mouse, left hand is on the 3D mouse, so you lose your shortcuts. You either have to jump back and forth or you use the shortcut keys on here. So some of the other 3D mice that are just that little puck, just the little controller in the middle, are nice for travel, that sort of thing. But long term, you do suffer a little bit because you lose your shortcut keys and you end up jumping back and forth, which isn't bad. Like I said, for presentation, if you're solely going to go in and like, all right, let's walk around this cabin, this is pretty hard to beat. This is really nice. This is a great way to explore a model, especially once you practice and you can go walk in and out of doors, that kind of thing. And then it's not so big of a deal to lose those commands. But if you're doing it to, like I said, put yourself up as the next level of a designer, then it's nice to have a 3D mouse that has those shortcut keys on it. And there's 2 different versions that have large numbers of shortcut keys. There's the Pro and the Enterprise from Space Mouse, or from 3D Connection, excuse me.
There's 2 buttons, I think, still on the little puck.
Yeah, the puck has 1 or 2 buttons on the side that you can program to. All right, see if there's any other ideas. Star Wars again.
See, it has been a while since you've done anything space related.
Yeah, I think the hangar I did with Nick was the last one we did, but that's been a couple months. That's not, we haven't done any Star Wars in the new studio yet, so that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. We can basically start over and just
Right.
everything. We gotta do it once.
Clean slate. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it, guys. We're hour 45 in. That feels like a good place. Like I said, there's some stuff we could do, but I think anything at this point adding on is just going to be superfluous to the model. So I will get this uploaded. I'll put the ceiling fan up also, and we will call it for today. Thank you. Some great ideas. I appreciate all those. We'll get to some of them. Thank you to Matt and Jody for hanging out with us, making sure everything works.
It was a blast.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you guys all for hanging out with us. If it weren't for you, it would just be 3 guys on a hangout call.
Hey, we tried that with podcasts.
Yeah. So you guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay sane. Next week, Tyson's going to be here modeling something. I don't know what. I want to try to get in the habit of knowing what next week's model is so we can call it out. That's probably something we should be doing.
I feel like
It's like a better plug.
It does.
that's a
That's
little,
something I look forward to.
a little tricky because Tyson always feels like he's kind of figuring that out on the Thursday before.
I'm usually prodding him Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to get a model from him. So, yeah, we'll figure it out though. But you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Stay safe, stay sane, and we will see you all next week.
See you guys.
Bye bye.
Good job.
You like the party?